So, I'm very grateful that you came here, and our Voice of Russia studio here in St. Petersburg Economic Forum. So let us start with your project. So it's just finished, so can you tell us about the results? Are you satisfied with it?
No, well, first of all, building new companies for Russia, tens of thousands new companies, it's not a short project. And there are different milestones. But it is true, we did, with the support of all the big Russian institutions, Russian venture companies, Skolkova, Rosmaladiosh, FASI, and all the key ministries, we made a tour across Russia, 16 cities, 24,000 kilometers, and over 7,000 people to see what is this entrepreneurship, new companies, what it means outside of Moscow, outside of St. Petersburg. And then we made a startup village event at the end of May, which we collected. It was like a Woodstock, like a rock concert of the startups. Not very formal meeting, but really how the companies can learn from each other. And many Russians were very skeptical that how it will fly. But actually we had 4,400 people in the first event. And of course I'm not objective to say what was the result, but if you go to the here in Skolkova office, Skolkova booth, you see companies, almost all of them got financing. All of them got networks, new companies, and I think this kind of positive, I would say, no fear, bestraha attitude is the most important thing there, that you can really do big things in Russia in entrepreneurship.
So you said that Russians were skeptical, but how about the foreigners? Are they still skeptical about Russia?
No, I think that, first of all, there is a big generation shift everywhere in the world. If you see my parents or the parents of the Chinese entrepreneurs, this kind of fear factor is a part of the history, and the young generation has a little bit different view. Yes, if you read newspapers, if you read politics, if you read this kind of a public broadcasting, there are not so much of good stories about new startups, new innovations, and people might think, okay, it's not possible here in Russia. The purpose of everything what we do, whether it's Skolkova, whether it's Startup Village, is just to show what is already happening. It's not PR, it's not promotion, it's just to show what is. And if we can get this kind of a snowball effect to happen, it will do it by itself. It's a fact. I have said that in Finland, where I'm originally coming from, we needed that Nokia was in trouble, because Nokia was such a big company, and then yesterday here in Economic Forum, one guy asked from me that, okay, what would be the Nokia of Russia? I said that if the oil price would be $45, everybody would be very interested about startups. So the point with all these activities is to prepare Russia and the ecosystem that Russia is ready if the oil price is $45.
Do we have some special time if the prices fall?
No. It's I think. First of all, this is not like historically everything was doing like Russia and the Western countries and so forth. This is not anymore the dividers. The thing is that Asia is extremely strong in world economy. USA has been strong. Latin America is getting stronger. And to me, Russia, even Russia belongs to the whole world, so to say. Russia is part of Europe. So we don't have any time to lose, so to say. We have to make sure that the Europe and Russia belongs to Europe. Perhaps guys in Vladivostok think differently, but we have to get this area stronger. For example, next week when Mr. Putin is going to Finland to state visit, instead of talking about traditional businesses like energy only or wood or that kind of, I'm sure that the president will talk about startups, new technologies, new businesses. So that's why it's not only one project, it's much bigger project what we are doing.
So, but there are still lots of concerns about the startups, because I heard somewhere here in the outskirts of St. Petersburg that the investors are tied with these startup stories. So it was like a top thing like 2 or 3 years ago, everybody were obsessed with startups, but now we need a new story or a new interpretation of this.
I strongly disagree.
The implementation of...
No, that's another story. If investors say that they are tired of startup story, they are not real investors, because the world needs startups every year, even also in next 100 years. Investors are never tired for making money. So if you get a story, if we are telling a story, or in historically like Skolkova, if we have told our story differently, it's our mistake. We have done something wrong. But the investors are never tired of new opportunities. What we are going to do is that, because for example Skolkova was established 3 years ago, and like always in Russia you build big houses and big announcements, but now we have real companies. And actually Skolkova is not Mr. Viljakainen, Skolkova is not Mr. Vekselberg, it's startups. And that's the key. That's why we are all the time visible, that if somebody has a view whether Skolkova is right or wrong and is he doing the right thing, don't watch us, see the companies. And if the companies are good, then this is good. If those sucks, then the Skolkova sucks.
Okay, and last question. So now everybody knows this brand Skolkova, but about 3 years ago, it was like a very new thing for Russia.
Yeah.
So what was the hardest thing for you to explain here in Russia?
No, well, I was not in the very beginning. I have been here only 1.5 years. I think that the hardest thing, definitely the hardest thing, is to get our startups to understand that they have to be internationally competitive. So it's not good enough to be best in Astrakhan or best in even in Moscow. You can make a lot of money, but if you want to be a good startup and if you want to attract funding, your story needs to be competitive in Helsinki, Shanghai and New York. And that is something that you have to a little bit push entrepreneurs, because they think that why? Because this is a big country, a lot of money, all kind of things, everything is good. But I said that yes, if you want to become number one, you have to get abroad. In certain industries, like in IT or computer science, it's natural. But all the other industries, everybody wants opportunities here. They are dreaming of having a deal with Gazprom or Rosneft, which is good. But to make super good in the world, you have to make a deal with ExxonMobil or China Mobile or something. And that's the hardest thing. But I think still, it's to get this kind of a, I repeat, I even wrote a book about No Fear, Bestraha, that to have an attitude that everything is possible. Everything is possible. I'm married with the Russian, so I know that Russians can be some cynical, negative sometimes, that everything is wrong and this is not possible and so forth. But by showing good examples, I think that we can do big things.